Hello, Flat Earth researchers, debaters and debunkers. Just stopped off for a coffee. Just over there. My local coffee stand. Great coffee. 15 baht. 15 baht. Probably, I don't know, a few pence in English, in money. Or, a few cents. Knocks the socks off Starbucks and all these corporate coffees. In fact, it's, you know, I was just gobsmacked when I went back to the UK. You know, you want to stop off and get a coffee? Well, there are lots of places to get coffee, but they're all called Costa Coffee, and they all cost like £2-3. Absolutely insane. I mean, there is, you know, people think they have choice, you know, this illusion of choice, when really you have none. You can choose from maybe 1 or 2 mega corporations to get your coffee. And that goes for anything else, doesn't it? You know, but that's what the beauty of living in Thailand is, you know, you have independent commerce, a truly free market where, you know, people can choose who they want to get their products from. You go to the market and, you know, you can choose among various vendors. They all charge around the same price. I mean, they've got to keep their prices competitive with each other, you know, and they don't really aim to, you know, make much more than what they need to make in a day. They're happy with their lot, and, you know, sell what they can sell, and yeah, they're done for the day. They go home and spend time with their families. It's brilliant, you know, and anyone can set up something like that here. You know, you can just, if you want to sell whatever you're good at selling, then you can do that. Of course, in somewhere like the UK, it's almost impossible. So many hoops to jump through, so much money to be spent, licenses and what have you, to just even get going at selling your own thing. So yeah, the big corporations end up just squeezing everyone out because they're the ones that can afford to abide by the ridiculous rules. Sure, buyer beware. I mean, if you go and buy bad chicken, then and you get sick, well, maybe you can't sue the chicken seller, but then again, you know, buyer beware. If you see that the chicken's not so good, then don't buy it. Or if they're being unhygienic, then don't buy it. Got choice, and just walk another 10 meters and find someone else selling chicken. In fact, it's funny, most of the chickens sold in the UK, in places like KFC or whatever, come from Thailand. Millions of chickens a day are exported from Thailand, slaughtered here, and sent to the UK. It's funny though, isn't it? The chicken is one of those animals that we find all over the world. It's not really unique to any particular place. You know, chickens, dogs, cats, rats, they pretty much live all over the place, huh? There's no survival of the fittest there, really. Just all over the place. Anyway, for 3 years, I suppose now, been trying to make videos that help people understand how the flat earther sees the flat earth. It's incredibly frustrating when people talk about models, my model, your model, our model. It's just ridiculous because, you know, people who want to defend the globe come along and use this kind of God view mathematics of the earth to try and say, oh, your flat earth model doesn't work. But of course they never ever take into account perspective, that magical word perspective, which all globers try to deny or avoid. And this is the thing. It's, you know, anyone who is still arguing about the mathematics, you know, for example, seeing a sunset twice because you got more height and saying that's proof of the globe is just, it is so frustrating when the flat earther can understand and perceive both models per se. You know, I mean, you know, for most of our lives we all just went along with the idea that, you know, we see the sunset because it's going down the curve and we're rolling around. You know, we just go with it, so we understand it, and depending on your mathematical skills, etc., you might have a bit of a deeper understanding of what's actually supposed to be going on. So I mean, but this is it, isn't it? Perspective or perception is what the whole thing is all about. So if you're still stuck on trying to prove the globe, all over the place here today, but I mean, this is another thing, isn't it? You know, most globe defenders have this idea that oh, the flat earther has never done any research, they don't know what they're talking about, they just fell out of bed one day and decided the earth was flat because it was cool. Absolutely ridiculous. I mean, you know, you can't tell these people that, no, the first thing a flat earther does is revisit the things we are told make up the heliocentric model. And I have yet, after 3 years of demanding, yet to have any globe defender come up with a simple illustration of the Earth whizzing around the sun and somehow being able to see the northern and southern stars doing their so-called circles 6 months apart. Not one globe defender. You can't even find one online. You cannot find an illustration of the Earth going around the sun and how we also see the stars on either side of an annual orbit. Not one. There is, this is the thing, it's compartmentalized, isn't it? It's so compartmentalized. You know, you talk about star trails, or you talk about Coriolis, or you talk about this, it's also flipping compartmentalized. But this is what the flat earther does. They take all this information that we are given and try to put it together in the big picture. And when we try to put it together the way we are told it's supposed to be, we realize that the jigsaw puzzles pieces just don't fit. It's that simple. Yeah? Then you could argue till the cows come home about angles and this and that and little bits of factoids here and there, but there is not one person who can do an illustration. Of course, we don't even have any photographs of the flipping Earth from space anyway. Oh, it's all too far away, you can't get anything to scale. Yeah. But it's perception, isn't it? And it is our perception of ourselves, the people, and the environment, the rest of the world. It is, this is why flat Earth is so life-changing, because nothing changes. Nothing changes about the way we see the sunset or the stars or anything like that. It doesn't suddenly all change to go flat. It is simply the opening of the doors to our real perception. A reconnection with our senses that tell us what we see around us, that allows us to judge I mean, you know, we can drive. Driving down the road here, I mean, our two eyes give us this perception with perspective. And kind of, you know, I can't measure how far away that truck is, but I kind of know how long it's going to take for me to stop or whatever, or how far away I should be from it. You know, this guy pulls out, I've got to slow down, blah, blah, blah. You know, I mean, and you know, Glober's tried to tell you that, oh, your eyes just aren't, you can't trust your senses. Fuck off! You know, this is the whole thing. We are told since birth to ignore our senses and be replaced by this idea, this God view of the earth, which we've never ever had. Never! Just all you gotta do is look at something side on, do some angles, and then take the observer's perspective, remeasure the angles, and you can see that the angles are not the same. It is, you know. So when the globe earther goes on about two sunsets being absolute proof that we're on a ball, they are just being bloody single-minded, and it's so bloody frustrating, because all you want them to do, all you want, is for them to allow themselves to see things as they really are and accept that these things up in the sky could be behaving in a way that we see things happening in everyday life. You know, the sun going off to the horizon. All you've got to understand is that everything we see going off into the distance, if it's higher than us, if something goes off into the distance and it's higher than us and it maintains that height, it will eventually reach the middle point of our vision. It's not ever going to go below the horizon or the midway level in our vision. It's going to get to the midway point, and then it will start to get smaller and smaller. Obviously, it depends on the size it is to start with. But to even think that the sun is some object that's supposed to change in angular size and all that stuff, you don't even know what the sun is. You don't even know if it's a ball of fire in the sky that should change size. It's just... And this change of perception changes everything. It makes you understand how we can bring about world peace. Because once everyone understands how our perception can be manipulated or set in a certain way, whether it's politics or whatever it might be, you know, it's all about perception. So frustrating. It really is. Because all any flat earther wants to do is share this wonderful freeing of the mind. Okay, you want to talk about science? Okay. Medical science looks at the brain or the heart or something. Do you know what? In Thai, any word that is to do with emotion uses the word heart. So, for example, if you're happy, the word for good is di, good, and the word for heart is jai. So we say di jai, good heart. The heart is feeling good, happy heart, happy. Yeah. Sao is the word for sad. Sao jai, sad heart. Yeah. There are even words in Thai that you cannot, there are no translation into English. Yeah? There's a word called greng jai, which is the feeling of your heart being a bit tense because you are in a bit of you've put yourself in an embarrassing situation, you're feeling awkward, you're imposing yourself on someone, and you know it, so you feel chenge, which means your heart is kind of getting a bit kind of squished and bent out of shape. Yeah, all right. So jai, happy heart, good heart, and then of course you can have the word jaidi, which means heart good, and that means kind. So jai is happy and jaidi is kind. Yeah. So there are millions of words in Thai that are related to emotions, and they talk about the heart. But of course, in Western terminology, Western science, all these emotions and things like this, they try to attach them to the brain. And the brain is just, passing on the electrical signals and stuff. It's just the circuitry. Yeah. So there's this already this understanding. I mentioned it the other day on Dell's Hangout, how the Thais talk about themselves in the third person. Nick is hungry. I wouldn't say I'm hungry, I'd say Nick is hungry. So it's just like there's this understanding that the body and the spirit, shall we say, occupying the spirit, or the soul occupying the body, are separate entities. Yeah. So there's already this understanding that we are in this situation where we are kind of observers of our daily actions and activities and our thoughts and things like that. Of course, in the heat of the moment, you just get caught up in your own emotions, whether it's anger, happiness, sadness, whatever. These things just happen. But of course, to evolve in any way spiritually, you need to start observing your own reactions to things. Almost an impossible task to do. Usually it's done on reflection, but even admitting some of the mistakes we make is the most difficult thing in the world to do for many of us. You've literally got to train your mind to do this, to be the detached observer. So it's all about perception. And this is why, to be honest, there's no point in me going out on the streets and doing kind of flat earth activism with the Thais because they're not fixated on us being on a ball. Yeah, it doesn't have any meaning. The meaning of life is a lot more intrinsic, and the whole kind of Buddhist concept is already there. And Buddhism is not a religion, really. Of course, it has a facade of a religion, but it's a scientific process of, again, just observing, being the observer. This is what science does. It observes the subject, which is our emotions and what have you. So, this sixth sense of being, everything that we feel that is not to do with our five sense reality, is our sixth sense. It's a very, very real thing. But of course, conventional Western science cannot attach these things to a sense organ. And so, psychology ends up becoming this completely messed up subject, which, attempts to use medicine. Anyone doing psychology, the first thing they should do is meditate. Because meditation, just taking the time to breathe and observe the body's reactions related to its emotions and all that, will bring an understanding of how the mind works. It is a science, yeah? And this has been completely ignored, just as perspective is ignored by these people that tell you to, well, imagine this or imagine that. Imagine if you're on a train and it's moving and blah, blah, blah to try and prove the globe. It's all just in our imaginations. Not at all embedded in any kind of reality whatsoever. Yeah? And this is all the flat earther wants from the globe head. So the globe heads that are coming along and arguing about maths and stuff like that, it's still a matter of perception, because, okay, if you want to take the maths related to what we see things doing in the sky and things like that, all you've got to do is swap it around and apply it to the things that we know are spherical, and that's our eyes. And how our eyes work. I've even had people tell, that's got nothing to do with it. You can't make an observation without using your eyes, and then you try and turn around and say the eyes have nothing to do with it. It's insane. And we live in a very, very insane world. And it's very clear, I mean, you know, the flat earthers that have gone way past first base and they're on to whatever, 6th, 7th, 8th base now. I mean, this is it. This is why flat earth talk is going, as they say, beyond the imaginary curve, because, you know, it's pointless arguing the toss over any alleged curvature, because we're talking about perception here. We're talking about the ability to see things in a different way. Nothing changes. That's all we want. That's all we want. We want people to have the ability. It's hard work. It's not easy. It takes several months, usually, of observations, your own little tests. I mean, you know, when someone goes flat or starts thinking about flat Earth, I mean, wow, you start looking at the clouds, the sky, the horizon, everything. I mean, it's like you're looking at everything with new eyes, a whole new perspective. And it's a wonderful, amazing, enthralling experience, because you suddenly, it's like having a veil lifted, the blindfold taken off. And if any of you idiots want to talk about a model, I'll tell you what, tell us where all this water came from. Where is the evidence? Where is the proof of where all the water on this earth came from? No one can give you a scientific, they can tell you that, oh, water was delivered by comets, you know, during the period that the earth was being formed billions of years ago, but we got no evidence, no proof that it's just, you know. So you want to talk about models? Well, you know, most of the earth model is water. Where did it come from? Huh? Tell me that. Start there. Start with the water. So if you want to compare science and the Bible tells us that, you know, the waters were divided, blah, blah, blah. It actually makes more sense, because we're surrounded by water, and of course, you know, I mean, water can be separated into pockets. You've got pockets of air, whatever, layers of density and all that kind of stuff. I mean, it's, you know, the more you look into it, the more you think deeply about what's going on, the more you understand the esoteric nature of where we are. And or just, you know, admit that we don't know. There's so much we don't know. So much we don't know. We don't have answers for. So all these people making claims about their model, you haven't even got a starting point. You don't even know what powers the model. You don't even know what makes things spin. Nobody knows. So to harp on about models is just, it's just stupid, because you haven't even got a foundation for how it all came about, apart from the idea of a big bang and all that. It's just, oh, it's just so frustrating that people have been blinkered. Can't see beyond the bullshit. and all the science, you know, all right, and you know, just for example, light being given a speed, a constant speed. The only reason they did that is to have some way of having a constant that they can base the mathematics on. There's no way of measuring the speed of light. Can you measure the speed of electricity? You know, why, for example, does electricity know to take the shortest route? Does it go down one way, come back the other way? No, it just knows, because the connection is already there. It's already there. Yeah? And of course, you know, the heliocentric model with gravity completely ignores all the actual physical real science that surrounds us. Magnetism, electromagnetism, electricity, static electricity, all that stuff completely ignores all of that real science, frequencies, radio waves, whatever, ignores all of that and tries to tell you that, oh, everything works on gravity, mass pulling mass, which has never ever been proven. Oh, it's so frustrating! Oh, does my head in that people just are so. But what it is, it's this love affair. It's this love affair with rockets going up into space, and they can't even see beyond that. I mean, you know, some globe Earth defenders think that flat earthers are just imagine that rockets don't exist. Of course they exist. Of course they send rockets up. They're real things that go up. But that's it, they go up and then they come down again. Have we got one single image or footage of a satellite or anything doing one orbit? No! Nothing! No actual proof! You've just got to imagine it. And it's no different to some magician sticking a woman in a box and cutting her cutting her in half. We all know it's bullshit. We all know it's an illusion. Oh, wake up! Just wake up, will ya?